Assalamu Alaikum dear viewers, welcome back to our channel, where you'll find full Islamic content, Islamic history, and all answers to your queries that will help you clear the path to gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Muslims around the world look up to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the last messenger in Islam and as someone to follow. There is nothing about our beloved Prophet that the enemies of Islam can attack on. But there is one topic that they love to discuss a lot in order to slam Islam, and that is the marriages of our Prophet. His many marriages often make people, including Muslims themselves, raise eyebrows. But to know why he married multiple times, we need to look at the history, society, and religious setting of his time. Today, we'll try to answer every aspect of his marriage in this video, and we'll explore the reasons behind the Prophet's sallallahu alaihi wasallam multiple wives, and tell you their names and share the story of each marriage. So without further delay, let's delve into the video. Why does any individual feel the urge to get married? To feel loved, or to fulfill his desires, to increase his lineage, and so on and so forth. There can be multiple reasons for marrying someone, but all the reasons have one thing in common, and that is that one wants to fulfill any of his personal wants. But that was not at all the case with our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The marriages of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam were not driven by personal desires, but were primarily for social, political, and humanitarian reasons. Here are some key reasons. Number 1. Strengthening alliances. Many of his marriages took place to build stronger bonds between tribes and clans. Back then, when tribal friendship mattered a lot, these marriages played a part in bringing peace and togetherness to the Arabian Peninsula. Number 2. Social welfare. Some of the Prophet's wives were widows who needed protection and support. And as our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was an epitome of mercy, he decided to marry them. By marrying them, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam provided them with security and dignity in a society that was unapologetically very critical of widowed and divorced women. Number 3. Religious and legal teachings. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was never in need of such marriages. In fact, marrying so many wives means providing for all of them and also for their offsprings, along with dealing with the enmity of the Meccans. But our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam not only did justice to all of his marriages, but also was able to spread his message in spite of all the hate and enmity from the Meccans. This was a lesson for all mankind to take care of their wives in the best possible manner without losing focus from the real aim. The marriages of the Prophet served as real-life examples of fair treatment of wives, established legal standards, and gave Muslims guidance on family matters, women's rights, and moral conduct. Number 4. Command from Allah. Some marriages were specifically ordained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to abolish the pagan rituals of the Meccans. For instance, the marriage to Zainab bint Jahash was commanded to address and abolish the pre-Islamic practice of adoption that equated adopted sons with biological sons. Even marrying Aisha radiallahu anha was because Allah had put inside the heart of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the inclination towards her, and that is why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had asked Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu for her hand in marriage. Now, after discussing the reasons for his marriages, let us know a little about each of the Prophet's sallallahu alaihi wasallam's wives. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam married 11 women in total, but not all were married to him simultaneously. Here's a brief history of each. Number 1. Khadijah bint Khuwaylid radiallahu anha, the first and most beloved wife of the Prophet. Khadijah radiallahu anha was a wealthy widow and a successful businesswoman, and when she got married to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she was nearly 40 and our Prophet was 25 years old. This fact alone is a testimony that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not the way the Islamophobes claim him to be. Khadijah bint Khuwaylid radiallahu anha was the first person to believe in Islam, and her marriage with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam lasted for 25 years until her death. She was so important and loved to Prophet Muhammad that she became among the only few people whom Jibreel alayhi salam himself sent his salam, and was given even the glad tidings of owning a palace made of pearl in Jannah. Number 2. Sauda bint Zama radiyallahu anha. After Khadijah radiyallahu anha's death, the Prophet married Sauda radiyallahu anha, who was an elderly widow. Sauda radiyallahu anha and her first husband, as Sakran ibn Amr, were among the early converts to Islam. When Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam commanded many Muslims to make the hijrah in order to flee persecution by the Quraysh, Sauda radiyallahu anha and Sakran had moved to Abyssinia. Sauda radiyallahu anha was among the first female immigrants to follow Allah's path and settle in Abyssinia. Sakran died a few years later after they returned to Mecca, and then Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam married her to provide her with protection and companionship. Number 3. Aisha bint Abu Bakr radiyallahu anha. Aisha radiyallahu anha was the daughter of Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, the Prophet's sallallahu alaihi wasallam's closest companion. Her age of marriage is the matter of discussion and an excuse for the Islamophobes to target Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But as a matter of fact, this was never an issue for even the staunchest enemies of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This means that this is just an excuse for the Islamophobes of today to target Islam. Her marriage with our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was significant in Islamic history, as she is known for narrating 2,210 hadiths covering subjects of inheritance, pilgrimage, and eschatology, in addition to subjects pertaining to Muhammad's personal life. The early scholars and notables greatly appreciated her intelligence and competence in a variety of areas, including poetry and medicine. Number 4. Hafsa bint Umar radiyallahu anha. Hafsa radiyallahu anha was the daughter of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, another close companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Her marriage to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam strengthened the ties between him and Umar alayhi salam. Hafsa radiyallahu anha is said to have narrated 60 hadiths from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number 5. Zainab bint Khuzaimah radiyallahu anha. Known as Ummul Masakin, or Mother of the Poor, because of her compassion and caring towards them. Following her former husband Ubaydah's radiyallahu anhu death at the Battle of Badr, Zainab radiyallahu anha became a widow. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam offered or consented to the match to support a worthy widow who could have been forced into poverty otherwise. It was rumored that the marriage was intended to convince his supporters that their families would not go hungry and uncared for if they died in combat. She passed away only 8 months after her marriage to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number 6. Salama, Hind bint Abi Umayyah radiyallahu anha. A widow with children, Salama radiyallahu anha was known for her wisdom and piety. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam married her to support her and her family. She was among Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's most significant female companions. She gained fame mostly for being able to recollect several hadiths associated with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She had become a widow after her former husband got martyred in the Battle of Uhud. It is interesting to note that while her husband Abu Salama radiyallahu anhu was dying from his wounds, he told Salama radiyallahu anha a narrative about a revelation he had heard from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I heard the messenger of God saying, whenever a calamity afflicts anyone, he should say, surely from God we are, and to him we shall undoubtedly return. And he would plead, O Lord, give me something better in return that only you, exalted and mighty, can give. After his death, her little children were her only family in Medina. But the Muhajirun and Ansar provided her with support. And after her iddah, or waiting period, she got offers for marriage from both Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu and Umar radiyallahu anhu, which she declined. But when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked for marriage, she agreed after he convinced her of protection and safety. Number 7. Zainab bint Jahash radiyallahu anha. Zainab radiyallahu anha was initially married to Zayd ibn Haritha radiyallahu anhu, the Prophet's adopted son. After their divorce, the Prophet ﷺ married her to break the prevailing social norms about adopted children, following a command from Allah. Before the rebirth of Islam, the Arabs regarded adopted sons as having the same rights as biological sons, including the ability to inherit property and observe sanctuaries. Following the marriage of Prophet ﷺ and Zainab radiallahu anha, the adopted children were no longer eligible for inheritance and were referred to as the biological parents' offspring, and thus it ended the pagan ritual of giving equal status to adopted children to biological children. Number 8. Juwayriya bint al-Harith radiallahu anha. She was a daughter of the chief of a tribe and hence was living her life in luxury. But during the invasion of her tribe by the Muslims, she got captured because her husband got killed in the war, which resulted in her losing all her wealth. When she was caught, she pleaded to Muhammad ﷺ to not treat her as a war captive, as she was born with a silver spoon and therefore now she does not deserve being a captive. Inspired by her heartfelt cries, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ offered her whether, in exchange for her ransom being paid, she would like to live as a free lady and join his household. This was not an offer she had ever imagined receiving. Touched by this sudden, unexpected promotion, she declared that she would gladly accept. Her marriage to the Prophet ﷺ resulted in the emancipation of many captives from her tribe. Number 9. Habiba, Ramla bint Abi Sufyan radiallahu anha. The daughter of Abu Sufyan, a leader of the Quraysh, her marriage to the Prophet served as a means to bring her powerful family closer to Islam. In one incident, she rebuked her polytheist father for being a polytheist because of her love for Islam and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number 10. Safiya bint Huyay radiallahu anha. Safiya radiallahu anha was of Jewish descent from the Banu Nadir Jewish tribe and a captive of the Battle of Khaybar, in which the Muslims were victorious. When Safiya radiallahu anha was married to Banu Nadir treasurer Kinana ibn al-Rabi, she was approximately 17 years old. According to Muslim narrations, Safiya radiallahu anha told Kinana about a dream she experienced in which the moon dropped from the sky and landed on her lap. Kinana interpreted this dream as Safiya's radiallahu anha wish to marry Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and thus struck her on the face, whose mark was evident when she met the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When she married, she was still a Jew, but later she reverted to Islam when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam invited her to do so. Number 11. Maimuna bint al-Harith radiallahu anha. The last woman the Prophet ﷺ married, Maimuna's marriage brought closer ties with the people of Najd and served as an example of how widows should be treated. When Muhammad ﷺ married her, it was the first time in 7 years that he had been able to go from Medina to his homeland of Mecca. Originally named Abara, she was given the name Maimuna, which means good tidings, because of the event of returning back to Mecca. When she died, Aisha radiallahu anha stated that Maimuna radiallahu anha was indeed the most religious among all the wives of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the most dedicated to her relatives. The marriages of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had deep roots in the social, political, and religious environment of his era. These unions went beyond acts of kindness and duty. They provided crucial teachings to the Muslim community. The Prophet ﷺ showed how to practice fairness, affection, and regard within a household through his marriages, setting a model for all Muslims to follow. Not one of his wives was ever dissatisfied with any of his behavior. He treated all of his wives with justice and compassion. Now, the Islam haters try to attack the character of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ by saying that he married 11 times. And why he married so-and-so, and at what age, but they don't ever try to understand the reasons behind the marriages and how all of them were immensely successful. We hope that in today's video, you were not only able to understand the reason behind the marriages, but also about all of his wives. That's all for today, dear viewers. We hope that you found this video informative and engaging. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Until next time, Assalamu Alaikum.